Hello, welcome to another episode of the Mendo Metal Podcast. My name is Brian C. Sticky, and my co-host Austin couldn't be here today because of a previous engagement. So I'm flying solo for the first time, so we'll see how it goes today, guys. I'd like to welcome our guests for episode 15, Max, Troy, Chris, and Craig, also known as the Boneless Ones. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hello.
How's it going, Boneless Ones?
Fucking awesome. We just had a great practice.
Right on.
Your co-host is so missing out right now.
Yeah, his dad is in a band. His dad, Ronnie Lee, is a amazing musician. He has a show that he's playing up in somewhere around Humboldt, and their sound guy bailed out on him, so they called on Austin to help out in a pinch. So, family
no
first.
Excuses.
Family first.
Totally lame,
All right, guys. So I'm just going to jump right into it with my first question for you guys. Let's just go back to the beginning of the Boneless Ones. I mean, you guys it's a long history, a 30+ year history of band, but how did the Boneless Ones and how did the Boneless Ones first come together as a band?
Roughly 1984, plus or minus, maybe a year before. Troy came into the band 1984. We started playing really heavily right off the bat. Boneless Ones in the first couple of years probably played 200 or 300, 250, 300 shows. So wow. It was me and Troy, a couple of kind of our high school friends at the beginning, and we just went out and started doing it. It's kind of evolved around skateboarding, to be perfectly honest, but then it kind of quickly turned into a pretty heavy major music product.
Yeah, and then Chris joined the band in 1986, 1987 or something.
86,
yeah. We played together for a while, and and now we are again.
And that's when I first saw them, when they played their last show on the Berkeley campus. I was there watching that show in the audience, fucking blown away by how fast and how insane they were and how great the guitar player was. Just the whole thing just blew my mind.
Yeah, something that caught my eye as going to shows, like Max was saying, they played so fucking much. And back then it wasn't like it is now where too much is too much. People were packing the fucking venues, or whether they weren't packed, they were going. Yeah. And so that was, for me, it was like, God, these guys get on every fucking show. I was at Attitude Adjustment at the time. Yeah. And I actually was in Attitude Adjustment and the Boneless Ones at the same time.
Wow.
And just moved that direction. And I remember Craig and Bailoff and Rob Flynn and then all the notables from the scene were at that last gig we played on Berkeley campus.
Yeah, MDC, they mentioned it last night on stage.
Nice.
MTC was the headliner that day, right?
No, we headlined. We played last.
You played it 2 in the afternoon?
No, we played it like 4 in the afternoon.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember. It was an afternoon show.
Oh, so much fun.
Bailoff had just gotten kicked out of Exodus like probably a couple weeks beforehand.
And I say something there. The headline. We played last. It always kind of struck me as going into the gig. Wow, MDC, we're playing last. That's because they knew it was going to break into a big riot. I swear to God. And you should see MDC played, and they put all their stuff in their van and drove away real quick. And I went, it's kind of interesting that they're bailing so fast. The show broke out into a huge melee with protesters and just.
Well, see, we don't have shows like that anymore.
Very Berkeley.
Yeah, I wish we could have shows like that again.
We took Chris's equipment and loaded it in the van straight up. Anyway.
So, obviously you each have your own histories with the band, and the Boneless Ones obviously is the main focus here, but here we have Craig and we have Chris, and you guys you guys have definitely have your names in other parts of the music scene. Like Craig, how did you come into the band? Because obviously you're not an original member, and here you are now. So how did this come to be?
Well, Chris reached out to me. It goes that I was starting to see their flyers and their stickers and the stuff again. It was just starting to surface. I'm like, the Boneless Ones, are they playing again? Like, fuck, it had been since that show. So I was kind of seeing that. And then when Chris and I got together for Spiral Arms, we did something for our brother who passed away. And then he was starting to tell me that, oh, yeah, I'm doing the Boneless Ones again. We're going to do all this, that, and the other. We got a Christmas song coming. And then just randomly, like almost a year later, I get a phone call from Chris saying, hey, dude. And I could tell he was like, you wanted to talk serious business. I was like, what's going on? He goes, dude. He's like, well, our guitar player is not really a metal guy in the Boneless Ones, and that he's a great guitar player, but he's just not a metal. He doesn't have the metal thing going on, and you need that those chops. And I'm like, oh, I remember that guitar player, dude. He's fucking ripping. I'm interested. Like, let's at least I'll meet with these guys, and we all went to Chris's house, wore masks.
Just one quick interjection. Luke Skeels, the original guitar player, was one of Joe Satriani's first 10 students.
Okay.
So it's Kirk Hammett, Bob Coons,
Gary Holt,
Rick Hunel,
Rick Hunel, Skolnick, Biederman. It's like Steve Vai.
Wow.
So he's in that first 10 school, right? And so it was almost tongue in cheek how good he was in the Boneless Ones, right? It was like all the fucking tricks.
Way too good.
Way too good to be in this band.
It was what made us unique. Was like we were playing fun party punk rock with an amazing guitar player.
So in the quest to find a guitar player to do this again, we went through a couple cats, great in their own right, but it didn't do this thing. And greatest guitar player I ever played with. So I was like, I gotta call him.
Go. You know who didn't take lessons from Joe Satriani? This guy. But I'm a different kind of guitar player. What I do have is the ingrained DNA of thrash and punk and crossover that I played my whole life. People associated me with Forbidden, or they later associated me with rock. But I grew up on all the fucking 3-letter bands. Every fucking one of them, and Circle Jerks were probably my favorite of them, but they weren't 3 letters, like and Black Flag and all that shit. So I had it. I mean, my right hand's always had that kind of hardcore, real fast. SOD was another thing, even though they're definitely crossover and more metal, but all that shit was in my back pocket. So once we sat and talked, I loved them as people right away. Then we listened to old demos with Luke playing on them. I was like, ooh, a couple of those songs ended up getting reworked and put on the album. And it was during COVID, and I needed some fun in my fucking life,
Yeah.
So since then we have a slogan that if we ever get wound up and tight, our slogan always come back is keep the fun. Just remember, this is supposed to be fun. If it turns into fucking drag, it's our fault. What do we do? So
so then we spent the next few months writing, the new album at Chris's house, and eating a lot of deli plates, really.
Lots of charcuterie going down. Charcuterie core.
It was really, it was like high quality charcuterie, high quality riffing, lots of laughs, lots of pot smoke. It was very creative. And we just, I had a couple songs in a week or so.
No, this guy blows my fucking mind right at this moment, because just for some reason, we never really fucking had big conversations about punk rock and hardcore. I don't even know why, because usually I get into that dialogue with people, about all music genres. And I was tripping out, dude. He was coming to rehearsal with riffs that were like super Rick Agnew fucking informed, super Circle Jerks informed, just across the board. And I'm like, where is all of this fucking coming from, dude? And he goes, oh no, shows me his playlist, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Wrote fucking 8 songs, plus the 4 we had. We wrote, 8 more we had 4 songs from back in the day. It was a trip.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
To
see Craig just do this like grip it and rip it thing. I mean, everybody knows, if you've ever seen the man play, it's heavily worked out. And this was like just eyes closed, fucking let it rip. And it was so cool to see his precision and technique in this format.
One of the songs, literally, Craig had a riff. Troy, I had the first verse. Troy recorded the riff, took it back to LA, looped it, and sequenced the song, sang over it at my cabin into a phone, and we would track stuff during COVID. So
lo-fi,
but a total digital setup at Chris's house. It was incredible. We got done and we walked in the studio and played the songs and recorded.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. Yeah, that's how much we had done it.
The recording at my little podunk little thing, a little Presonus fucking, unit into the Apple into Studio One. Got the electric drums. We wrote the whole album in headphones.
He says it's podunk. I hear the tracks at home and go,
No.
is that
I
the
mean,
studio?
compared to what most people have now at their houses.
Electric drum set too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a really great sounding drum set that served his purpose, and
Is it quotable?
So in our headphones, we sounded way better than any rehearsal room could possibly sound. I mean, we were so pumped that it drove the precision on the record, and that's something I'm really proud of. I think the record is like not only, fun, but it's precise.
Well,
and
what's
it's super
interesting
smart.
What's interesting is I've done a few of these podcasts, and just given the time that we're in now, it seems like a lot of bands just really had an interesting time going through the whole COVID thing, and like the music that people produced, and everybody's kind of got a different story about like how they used that COVID time. And I think about like you guys' story, the fact that you guys were all sort of in separate places doing all these sort of separate things. And then I hear this album that you put out. It's like, it doesn't even register in your head that it could have been made that way. So like that's amazing to me that like here you are over cell phones and different rooms and all these sort of things. And here's this cohesive album that just sounds awesome. You wouldn't think that it would come out that way,
Yeah, well, I mean, the crust of the thing started with the cell phone. Everybody in a different spot, but then we converged. About 3 months, right?
Yeah, we spent about 3 months in Chris's extra room.
And I'll tell you, that system made the pre-production sound so good that it fucking spooked us into going into Sharkbite and using the machine head approach to recording with Zach Oren. And then what comes out of there in just 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days we did the whole thing.
5 days we did the whole fucking record, vocals and everything. And then our little take a CD home or here's your files to listen to were so amplified from there. We knew we had to go on to ask somebody like a Matt Weiniger to produce it. And fuck, the way it sounded, I was like, it needs Grammy sheen.
Yeah.
It needs that Matt Weiniger, that next level gear. Techniques of getting it to just fly,
And you might as well parlay that into who's Matt Weiniger. Matt Weiniger, if you don't know, for the people that don't know, and a lot of people don't because he's behind the scenes and humble as fuck.
Yeah.
Besides being one of the most talented musicians that I've ever played with in my life or sat in a room with, because he's like up there with my top 3 guitar players all time that I know personally. He has started producing the Primus records, the earliest Fizzle Fry and live shit, and then went on all the way to Sailing on the Seas of Cheese, did all that shit, produced the Fungo Mungo demos, and then came up in different Spent Poets. He did Slider.
I almost started the Mordred record.
That was a huge seller for me and Craig and myself, actually. Was listening to that Mordred album. We were like, dude, you hear what they captured? And it was like, wow. And then what they, I heard he absolutely just took that mix over from a place that was kind of wobbly and just
he's good. Yeah, if something's like out of place, he's amazing, and he doesn't overproduce either. The approach that we took, and this is, and I will back this up for what I do with any band I'm in. I do it with Forbidden. I do with whatever. It's like I don't like overproduction. I don't like drums being overcorrected. I don't like guitars being moved around to sound like they're perfect. I don't like the way new records sound for the most part because the life is taken out of it for perfection.
Yeah.
So the approach that we had with Zach parlayed exactly into the approach with Matt, which he loved. He's like, yes, like keep it rock and roll.
So not a lot of auto tune on my vocals.
No, really
could have helped.
He did add the British accent to it, though.
He put the British accent button on it. I really know how that is.
It's called the Cockney button. But so anyway, so yeah, I mean,
So what's he been doing lately?
I just talked to him a couple days ago, actually, because his old drummer from Slider just got the Foo Fighters gig.
Oh, okay.
Because he played Slider was the band. It was a 3-piece with him. It was supposed to be gigantic.
Yeah, he's recently won Grammys with Fantastic Negrito.
Yeah, he's nominated for another one. So there you go. And he's been my good friend since high school days.
There you go.
And sweet guy, but he was funny in high school he wouldn't touch a drug while the rest of us were all like doing a hell of drugs. And he got it all in like once he got a record deal. Now it's all done. He got it all in and it's all done. You know.
So I had another question for you, and because I see that, obviously the enthusiasm of being in the band, and you guys seem to be happy doing what you're doing now. And obviously anybody that knows the history of the band knows that you guys started out and then there was this screeching halt and a 30 some odd year hiatus. I'm not so much interested in about like what caused the band to stop then. I'm more interested and curious about what was the inspiration to come back and start doing this again at this point in life.
I'll take this one. A good friend of ours, collectively, a man named Eddie Jennings, who was, I wouldn't say executive director of the Haight Street Fair, but heavily involved in the music, the talent buying, booking, what they say, talent buying.
Legend.
Yeah.
A legend, owned a club in LA called Jack Sugar Shack, ran the I-Beam for 20 years, booked any band you can think of the I-Beam. Came to me and said, Max, I'd like you to get your group together and come and play. Now, I played for Eddie in a different band in the 90s. It was just so, and I thought, Eddie, you want me to get that band back together? He said, no, the good band, the band from the 80s. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. Let me get my head around it now. In the interim, me and Chris had kind of started speaking again and kind of sparked our friendship again. And
For a while.
so, yeah, for a while,
Like
because
2,
I was
3
in
years.
Berkeley for a while.
Yeah.
And so I said, Chris, dude, we're getting an offer to go play the Haight Street Fair, which is a big deal. I mean, Four Non-Blondes played there, and there was 35,000, 40 people, or that's not true, 20,000 people in the street. So historically, this is a big event. And so I took it to Chris. Chris said, well, let's call Troy. And so we called Troy.
I had to go into my garage. This fucker had been sitting there for 29 years.
Wow.
And I had to look down it. It was so bent. I just took my hex key with all my might.
Bass, I mean, it sounds funny nowadays, but to be synonymous with the guitar. But I heard people say this before. The band with the guy that plays that weird bass. Like it just was not happening unless you were watching Tears for Fears or some would have that bass or guitar.
So Eddie came to me, asked me, we kind of put it together. And this is where we spoke of earlier about a couple of guitarists who we're all good friends with. And we brought it into the band. It didn't work out for style wise. For one reason or other, they couldn't fit in.
It happens.
But we did
we got through the nucleus shows.
And to be perfectly honest, we actually did a handful of shows
Yeah.
with these first guitars. Kind of limping along. Big, incredible response from the crowd. We want more, we want more, we want more. So that was kind of the driving force behind actually finding a good guitar that we could gel with and that could write. Instead of us playing our first album over and over.
Yeah.
Well, let's try that song.
That's
try
gonna
that song.
work.
We started, it got to the point where we knew we needed new material. And literally when Craig came in, we just started writing. I don't think we played any gigs.
Not for like 6 months.
Our first gig together was the Tom Hunting Exodus benefit.
Yeah.
Right.
Up in Sacramento.
Can I just emphasize one thing that is so important in all the years of learning things that I've fucking learned is that no matter how hard you try, if your timing isn't right on things, it ain't gonna work.
No.
Yeah.
So timing is everything for all of us. And when Chris got a hold of me, it was a perfect time. My mind was drifting towards I'm not getting together one day a week, if that, with my other band. I need to have fun doing something. So it all kind of just worked out. And that really prompted and prepped us for even what we're doing today. Like, it ramped up all my thrash metal blood again. And we're just as much thrash as we are punk. We're just as much rock as we are thrash.
And we fit right in, like not a wink, to the crossover thing. That first record has rock and roll, it has metal on it, it has punk rock on it, and so that was, right there, perfect drop from Berkeley.
That first album was
Crossover.
incredibly ahead of its time. And I don't mean to toot my own horn, but there are aspects of Skate for the Devil written in 85 and recorded in 85 or 86 that are pertinent today. You listen to the album, you go, that sounds really good.
It had me a little tripped out because I was like trying to think of my guitar approach for the record, because I heard the way that I figured out how he recorded it mostly, and I was like, without talking. Then I talked to your friend that recorded us that first time.
So let me touch base.
But I was like, I was scared because I was like, is it going to sound as good as that fucking weird guitar tone that sounds so amazing?
So we used Kevin Army, who is another producer that's an all-star producer, Operation Ivy, Green Day, two of the first major Green Day release. Early on, this is before he had done any of this. So he was setting Troy's cabinet up in the bathroom, and I was singing in different. It was the trippiest recording process, and got done, and we yielded this album, "Escape from the Devil." So it's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible.
So you guys did "Escape for the Devil," like I said, and then the band kind of came to a halt. You guys come back. The Hate Street Fairs sort of was this the catalyst to the band getting back together. Craig joins the band. You guys cut a new album. How did this whole I mean, obviously, like you said, you wanted new music so that you're not playing all of your old music over and over again. But how was that process as far as writing the songs? Was it all four of you all contributing equally? Was it somebody just brought a song to the table and you pick which one? How did your sort of process come together? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little of everything. Yeah. There was like multiple processes and ways to go about it.
Yeah. There was old songs.
What's the name of the album that you guys recently put out?
Back to the grind.
Back to the grind.
I just got to say, I want to really back this up. There's multiple ways it came across, because there's old songs we went over. Then there was demos that he had made of just bass and drum stuff that I started ripping a song around these great little melodies that turned out to be songs like Bones of Rock, Cops and Robbers, just like these amazing little things. And then there's songs I brought in too, and then they just all fit seamlessly. I can't, timing did again.
Yeah, I know it was so incredibly collaborative. It's amazing.
Yeah.
To be honest, so there's 12 or 13 songs depending on what version you get and where you get it from. Me and Troy had been bouncing around 4 songs back and forth. Just when you hear them, it's so funny to listen to. And we had 4 songs left from a lost demo that we had recorded with Kevin Army. Killer
from 86, right? Or 87.
86, 87.
Yeah.
And then Craig came in and busted out. And Craig went over them all and glossed them all out. So to say that we use these old songs, new songs, Craig went in and really rearranged the guitars.
I kept all the good shit.
He kept
I just focused on playing the drums shittier.
Yeah. That I would say
that's not true.
That one of the best things he did is, for Church of Violence, he learned the guitar solo at the beginning of Church of Violence, note for note, in honor of Luke's skills. Not easy to do.
And Luke is passed on, just so you know.
Yeah, Luke passed on. I have to tell the story in more detail.
Okay.
So we give him this song, and we're like, here, there's this whole intro with solos on it. You go crazy. Do whatever the fuck you want, man. It's your fucking plot of land. He comes back in, and he's playing exactly what was on the demo. So I go, no, bro. And he goes, yes, this is the perfect way to fucking honor Luke.
Yeah, it was a great solo.
And dude, I'm not going to say, wasn't a dry eye in the fucking house, bro. We all fucking were like, oof. And I just thought it was the sweetest and, kindest gesture as Craig coming into Luke's world and then moving forward from there. It was homage, and it was really, really fucking special.
Kind of carrying the baton a bit.
Yeah.
And it was a great tribute too.
And having listened to the album myself, there's a lot of great songs on it. My personal favorite happens to be the one that's on the Mendo Lake Metal Fest compilation CD. We Ride the Night. It's a great song. What's the inspiration behind that song?
Well, that was one of the ones that I came in with, and I actually literally had a title. I'm all, we ride the night, and I was like, he's all, I could probably work with that.
Like this.
We'll make it about skateboarding at night. Of course, it's all skateboarding. So yeah, it's about skateboarding at night.
We ride the night, 6 sharp as a knife. We ride the night, let's fight the good fight. I'm riding on that skateboard, I'm crushing the night, pushing with my brothers, and never running from a fight. Always pushing limits, and never slowing down. The only thing that stops us is gravity and turning and twisting, free falling, I'm hitting. Dressed in black, drench in blood, fear is real, how I feel, the devil steal, all the fun I'm turning and twisting, free falling, I'm hitting. Dressed in black, drench in blood, fear is real, how I feel, the devil steal, all the fun I'm turning and twisting, free falling, right through the night. Sharp as a knife, we ride the night, fight the good fight. It's a downhill battle, trying to do things right. Life is an uphill battle, always fight the good, turning and twisting, free falling, I'm hitting. Dress in black, drench in blood, the fear is real, how I feel, the devil steal, all the fun I'm turning and twisting, free falling, I'm hitting. Dress in black, drench in blood, the fear is real, how I feel, the devil steal, all the fun I'm turning and twisting, free falling, I'm hitting. Crashing through the night, pushing with my brothers, and never running from a turning and twisting, free falling, I'm hitting. Turning and twisting, free falling, I'm hitting. Turning, twisting, falling, we ride the night.
Awesome. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to speak for Max, but the thing I love about it is it kind of tells the story of nothing's easy, and this extreme sport of skateboarding wasn't developed into a foam pit. It's asphalt and gravel,
Nighttime
and hard surfaces,
skating with your friends,
ass
yeah.
while you're skating with your friends. Drenched in black, drenched in blood. That yeah.
We do
Awesome.
have to point out for a second, Max writes all of the lyrics. He's an amazing wordsmith. He's a storyteller. He's a wordsmith. We love his lyrics so much.
I can definitely.
He carries around this bunch of just pieces of paper, and he's writing shit all the time.
Urban stories.
I can definitely testify to the fact that Max can talk, man. Max can talk.
Well,
So,
Brian, let me just back up one thing about Max. I gotta say, one of the first things I fucking noticed is his storytelling was he could do a lot with 4 lines where you really didn't need to always go back and make a new line. Like it meant something different each time around, or you took it differently. That is one of the rarest qualities in singers, to actually be able to not have to say a bunch of things, but you get the whole story and you're never going to get bored. It's the punk rock school, or Beatles, even Stone Temple Pilots, believe it or not. There's certain bands that just, you don't need a whole bunch of lyrics. You get the story in its entirety.
And I do think it's amazing the way he sings. You can hear all of the words.
That's
so many bands, you're like, what did they say? Let me read the liner notes to figure out what they said. You can understand everything he says.
You got big diction.
I'm gonna jump in real quick, guys. because we're down to
diction.
We're down to the last 5 minutes, so I wanted to find out from you guys. What's on the plate for Boneless Ones? What do you guys got coming up in the near future?
Take it away, Chris.
We're playing shows. We've got June 4th at the Ivy Room with JFA, legendary skate rock band.
Awesome.
And then we have June 10th at Old Ironsides in Sacramento, California with Fang and Social Unrest. And who the opener? Curb.
Death Rider.
That's right.
That's why.
Right? And then
Tell the cover
then we're
band.
going-
I mean, tribute band.
we're going out of town somewhere. I don't remember what it is. Somebody said it's going to be a big show on.
Yeah.
I think what was it, June 17th?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems lame, but
We're
we're
gonna see a lot of trees.
I mean, I might show up. I might be there. I don't know. I haven't decided
I
yet.
heard you were going to come, but you were
Yeah.
like, I got CDs to wind, and I've got to fucking wash my beard.
Yeah. Well, we don't even do that.
And then
And then,
we play the Dynamo Festival in Holland.
but before that,
Well, the week before that, we're gonna be
no.
Oh, then we play the show in fucking Belgium with Fang. We play the show with Fang.
Yeah, who
Get
knew?
so
We have to go all the way to Belgium to play with them.
It's a Wednesday before the
No,
Sunday.
the Friday.
It was
Friday
Sunday.
before the Sunday.
We won a
We have
Sunday.
a warm
You
up.
can play
A
guitar.
great example of who we are. We play a punk rock show, on a Friday, and then a big metal festival on Sunday.
Yeah.
That is who we are.
We're fucking stuck.
Fang on Friday and Megadeth on Sunday.
Awesome. We got 3 minutes left.
Interesting.
We got 3 minutes left. And this is something let me jump in, guys. We got 3 minutes left, and before we go, I want to find out from each one of you the quick version. Each one of you give me a band that each one of you would recommend for me to be listening to right now.
Troy.
No, start from that end. Fuck.
Bewitcher.
Excellent band. Totally agree.
Great.
Craig.
Right now, I'm way into Amiel and the Sniffers out of Australia.
Okay.
Phenomenal female-fronted fucking punk band.
It was just a name. What?
Killer.
I seen them. They were good.
Go ahead.
Man.
They're great. Man is awesome.
Yeah, great band. Great band.
You know what?
What about Off?
I would say something ska, something two-tone, madness.
Awesome.
He's going old school.
Well,
Madness.
I don't know. I'm so old school all the time. Very
anything.
Turbo Negro, very Tale of Terror. I love listening to Tale of Terror.
There you go.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, we're kind of limited on time, so we're gonna have to kind of wind it down here real quick. But I appreciate you guys coming on the show. It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to get this happening for a couple of weeks, and this here and that there kind of holding it up. So I'm glad we finally got to get to it and have a little chat with you guys, learn a little bit about the history of the Boneless Ones and some about the future. Are you guys working on any new music? You're gonna have new music coming out soon, or is that something?
We've got a couple new songs that we're working on.
We got one actually. We're pretty well worked out.
Yeah. Another one's in the works.
Okay, we'll
Hey
keep-
man, I got to give a big shout out to you, Brian. You are one of the biggest supporters of anything that's fucking legit and real and heavy, and your
Thank you.
grassroots
Great artist.
supporter for all of us.
I wanted to be one of you guys, but I have zero talent, so musical
Oh, you got
talent. So
talent.
this is
Make
my
the best
contribution.
flyers around too.
Really?
Well, we are incredibly excited to see you in I guess it's 4 weeks, right?
Weeks, June 17th.
June
so-
17th,
Everybody else better fucking be there because
3 weeks
it
from
is
today.
going to be awesome.
We got Hyrax on the bill. We got Boneless Ones. We got Blind Illusion, Mordred. Who else? Negative
Infect.
6, Infects. I mean, the list goes on. It's gonna be an awesome show. So I'm really looking
It's gonna be
forward to.
ridiculous.
Yeah. And I'm really
Be
looking
quite a
forward to
day.
it.
Thank you for everything you do for us, Brian. We love you.
And back at you, man. I appreciate you guys and your music and all of your contributions. And hey, one of these days we need to get some Forbidden up here too. So Craig. That's gonna be that. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be that one-off show that you play at the little bar up here in Lakeport, right?
Can we book it at the Bohemian Grove? I want to go. I want to go do it where they have rituals.
Well, we can do that in my backyard, man. All right, guys. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the stories, and look forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks. And rock on.
We'll see all of you on the 17th.
I just forgot something. Fuck you, Lou!
Fuck you twice. Fuck you twice. All right, guys. You have a good day.
Hey, Brian.
All right.